What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, well, I've had a busy weekend, but the weekend's over now. So what I did was I sat down and had a dig through Premium Booster 02, because Bandai, they haven't shown us all of the alternate arts or any of that yet. What they have done, however, is they've shown us the main set list. All the new cards, which we talked about, and all the reprints, and that is something we need to be talking about today. We know all the cards that are being reprinted in Premium Booster 01, and I'm not going to sit here and give you a list. I'll link it in the description if you want me to. That's not the point. The point is we need to sit down and have a look through here because, oh my word, there are some very important cards. And let's start off with EB01, looking at the cards that are reprinted in Premium Booster 02 that were in EB01. Because EB01 is a set which sold out at this point. It's gone. And there are some cards that are getting absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Bandai just basically reprinted them all. Like Cavendish. Let's start off with Cavendish. Cavendish right now is an absurd card. It's like somewhere in the region of a $40 card as just an ordinary everyday run-of-the-mill super rare. Bearing in mind there's like 8 super rares in EB01. And you get 6 in a box. So you got like a 75% chance of hitting Cavendish in a box of EB01, but because boxes are all sold out, that card's become ridiculous. So yeah, they're reprinting it in Premium Booster 02. And the other thing to remember is, and I don't like this personally, they don't give it a Premium Booster 02 numbering. So not only is it a reprint mechanically and a reprint artistically, but if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, it says EB01 12. Now, I'm not saying that the finish isn't going to be slightly distinguishable. Sometimes they are. That's not the point. The point is, it is just a straight reprint of that card. It is a redonkulous card. It's a one whereby on play and when attack, if you've got a Supernova leader and you have no other Cavendish in play, activate 2 Don. It's a ridiculous card in basically any deck that can use it. And remember, OP13 Luffy is a Supernova and can therefore use it. It's only going to keep getting better and better as time goes by until it rotates. And it's not getting rotated out first time round. Remember, it's a 2, not a 1. And yeah, it's a great card we needed a reprint of. We're getting it. There's a pair of cards which we need a reprint of. Brook and Laboon. These 2 black super rares that came around in EB01. They're not quite Cavendish level, but make no mistake about it, they are very good cards that see a lot of play that people really want back and want to tank the price of. Yeah, they're being reprinted. And this is gonna tank the price. I am convinced it's going to tank the price. Now, if they give them alternate arts, they're probably going to be different. So the redonkulous So-So Laboon, one of my favourite One Piece cards, happy to say I have this one. One of my favourite One Piece cards. This ain't getting reprinted. I imagine it could, but it's very unlikely. It's not been confirmed or denied yet. But Laboon as a whole is. And what I did in preparation for this was I just started looking at deck lists that are doing well at the moment. I started looking at all of the cards that are seeing significant play right now, just looking at which ones are dumb price. Yeah, these. Like the Laboon and the Brook right now, they're only like about $10 each. That's roughly what you're paying for either of these cards. But that's still like $40 for a playset. That's still far more than we would generally like. Again, boxes of EB01, if you could find them now, these super rares, they're going to pay for it. If you can find one at retail, and you won't. But if you could, it'd pay for itself. It'd be awesome. But the point is, these are other super rares that are getting a little bit dumb. Well, wonderful news. They are also being reprinted. Brook, on play and when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn, and then KO with 0 cost. It's very good. Laboon's got an activate main to rest this character to get a -4 cost. Again, very good, sees a bunch of play. But we've even got a $5 rare in EB01. It's Finger Pistol. Now, it's not a lot of money. $5 is not horrendous. But for a rare? Yes. That is a ridiculous sum of money for an ordinary everyday run-of-the-mill rare. Well, this one's getting reprinted as well. It's a card that sees a huge amount of play, And now putting it in here is going to tank the price of it. Trash 2 cards from your deck to KO a 5 cost or less, either as a main or as a trigger. Have they done every single possible card? No. There are other expensive cards they could have reprinted. The Tony Chopper Super Rare is not getting a reprint. Sorry about that. That's probably the big whiff. But they're doing pretty well. Because the other one they've gone and reprinted here is Shirahoshi, another $10 Super Rare. Yeah, the EBO1 got a bit silly. These reprints are helping out. And what we got from Shirahoshi is no power, Wimpy Hoshi, obviously. But it's a blocker that if it's KO'd by an effect, you add the top card of your deck to your life. So either they attack into you and you block good times, or they take you out and then you gain a life. So then if they remove a life, you're just kind of even. That seems like a win. Obviously, yes, they could remove from the board other than KOing, and that would obviously work. But my point is, they have really gone for it. And yes, you're going to find a bunch of random reprints in this set that don't really make a huge amount of sense. Like, did anyone really desperately need the Yamasan reprinted? Like, is that a card we really needed here? Arguably not. I couldn't tell you the actual reason for this, but it's probably something to do with trying to balance things for release events and things of that nature. Trying to make sure we got a decent card pool for the release events they often do for these kind of sets. But they've gone for the big ones here, and that's awesome. Because the biggest one is the Secret Rare Boncray Bentham. That is a big card. That is like a $35 card. That and Cavendish are, by a pretty wide margin, the biggest non-alternate art cards in EBO1. And the thing about Boncray Bentham is, it sees a lot of play. Are we going to get the Nami alternate art? Probably not, honestly. That would be weird. I don't see that coming. But this Boncray Bentham sees a lot of play. It's like a staple in blue-purple Luffy right now. Well, wonderful news. Now we get it back. This is awesome. It's a staple in mono-purple Luffy, as an example. Well, now we get that one back as well. Now, over in EBO2, we've not had many reprinted cards from EBO2, which kind of makes sense, because EBO2 has just come out. In fact, they have reprinted exactly one card from EBO2 in Premium Booster 02. But it's a Secret Rare Luffy, which is actually kind of busted. And again, I cannot say one way or another. I wasn't in the room when these decisions were being made. But I imagine the conversation went something along the lines of, well, EBO2's only just come out. We don't really need any reprints for this set yet, do we? Come on, mate. That Luffy from EBO2 kind of gotten a bit stupid already. That card's getting a bit silly. Why don't we keep it under control a little bit? Oh, go on then. You know what? Let's go and do that. And they have. Because this Luffy's getting out of control. It's a $50 Secret Rare. Absolutely absurd. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think the price of EBO2 is going to completely tank overnight, because we've got all of those gold foil leaders, which are incredibly sought after. And, you know, Sanji and Pudding is still a very playable card and all of that. But that's only like a $15 super rare. We didn't really need a reprint of Sanji and Pudding right now. We can do without it. But this Luffy, yeah, we did. Frankly, we did. We needed a reprint of this Luffy because things were getting dumb. We don't want a $50 secret rare, because a $50 secret rare is going to just push the entire price of the whole setup, and that's going to be super annoying. By reprinting it in here, they tank the price, and a lot of what I'm seeing when I look through this is just like, yeah, they've kind of nailed it. Like, I'm looking at the big cards. When you look at a deck list, there are always a couple of cards where you're like, oh, I don't really want to buy that card. That card's kind of pushing the price of the set up. Want another example? Secret Rare Sanji from OP06. That is another card where it was just getting kind of annoying, honestly. Like, that's a secret rare, but it's too playable. It's one whereby you get to look at the top card of your deck, and as long as it's a character that isn't a 10 cost or Sanji, you get to play it for free. And sure, it's only like a $15 card, but they went and reprinted it. Except they also combined it with his mate Zoro, which hasn't been as playable, but is now starting to come into its own. You can basically restand it twice. Once you can pay to restand it on attack, and another time you can just pay to restand it. Actually a very, very, very nice card. It's one that sees a whole heap of play. So yeah, they've gone and reprinted both of those secret rares. They're both like $15 secret rares, so they've jumped in and reprinted it, and that's awesome. And again, I'm not here to argue that it's perfect. OP06 Hody Jones, that is a card that sees a lot of play, and it's only like a $10 super rare, but still, it's one that I would have liked to have seen reprinted. But then they did get the OP07 Sanji. Very nice card, it's got blocker, and as long as you've got 2 fewer Don than your opponent, then you get to reduce the cost in hand by 3, so it's a free cost 6k counter plus 2,000 blocker. That's pretty nice. And the point I'm making here is that as I'm looking through the cards that are ruining the price of decks, Hody Jones stands out to me as one which hasn't been reprinted, and that's a little bit annoying. Granted. And actually, let me just jump in here for a second. Yes, I know Hody Jones was reprinted in Premium Booster 01. Maybe that's why they didn't feel the need to put it in Premium Booster 02. And I know that's what a bunch of you are probably thinking, but I'm still putting it out there. They've basically hit all of the good cards that we needed to bring down in price. They haven't hit Hody Jones. I don't care that it was in Premium Booster 01. I think it would have been great if it had been reprinted here. And I do think it's like the one miss in the set in terms of reprints. But they've given us the secret rare Luffy and Boncray Bentham. They've given us things like Cavendish and Brook and Laboon and Shirahoshi from EB01. They've given us the 2 secret rares from OP06, the Sanji from OP07. They've actually gone and given us Promo 73 Sabo, because that's not a card that sees a ridiculous amount of play, but it is a card that does pop up in like Betty decks, for instance, and actually that is a card because of its promo nature, which has ended up being a bit more expensive. And I'm looking at all of the cards which are essentially ruining the price of decks, and if we have a look at things that are generally like putting a deck up by, let's say like $40, the only real whiff I'm seeing here is Hody Jones. I really would like to see OP06 Hody Jones reprinted in this set. It's not. But they've kind of hit like everything else, at least among the top decks right now. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of others. Oh, Uso Hachi from Starter Deck 18. Also getting a reprint here. That's a very big deal. It's a Starter Deck card, but it's one which, you know, Starter Deck 18 is really hard to find now because of Uso Hachi. So, yeah, actually, that's really cool. The fact that we're getting that is actually a really big win. I am a very, very big fan of this. I think Bandai have knocked it out the park here. And again, I am not sitting here telling you that every single good card has been reprinted. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying, however, is that I think they've gone and hit pretty much everything we needed them to hit. Also, I'm just going to put this out there. We know a ban list update is coming soon, and they haven't reprinted Hody Jones, which really stands out to me like a sore thumb of why wasn't this reprinted. I'm not saying Hody Jones is getting hit with a ban list. Not saying that. I am raising the question as to why that's the only card that if you look at the decks right now that are seeing significant play and all of that, you could maybe argue the Chopper, but that's not seeing as much play. Why is this the one card that's not been hit? Leaving it out there, letting you guys see what you want. So there we go. Not a complete list. I'll pop a link in the description if you want to see the complete list. But my analysis of which cards got hit and which cards didn't. And frankly, yeah. This is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. This is awesome. But I want to hear from you guys. Tell me if you agree that they've nailed the assignment. Let me know in the comment section. Get us. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.